Once again, welcome to BCC Virtual Racing and tonight's race, the eagerly awaited end of season handicap race on the RGV course. Some 47 riders expected with about 34 signed in. I can see them all lining up in eager anticipation of what is going to be a fairly quick and short race, at least time wise, but it won't feel like that, of course. 24.7 kilometers long, 133 meters approximately of climbing, one hill of around 900 meters, and if I remember correctly, 4 or 5% with a few bumps and lumps towards the end. Riders are starting in reverse order, slowest first, with the hope that all riders will finish towards the end. Unfortunately, of course, those that go off first don't have the opportunity to draft anyone, not usually, and it tends to favour the large groups towards the back of the field. But first off today is Tessa Unsworth, who will go exactly on the 2-hour clock, which is in about 21 seconds time. Last off this evening will be Lancia. How much further back? 146.55 he's setting off, so the riders towards the rear of the field have a bit of have to just sit there really and wait. They can't start pedalling, and as a reminder, you shouldn't be now unless you're Tessa. And if I can find Tessa, I can't see her anywhere yet. There's someone going, that could be her. Second off is Katie Wilkinson. A couple of families there. Someone got it wrong there. Someone's moving and they shouldn't be. Who is that? Julian Poulter. Never mind. Can't see Tessa moving anywhere. Never mind. Next is Katie Wilkinson in just a few seconds, so she should be going now, but can't see her either. Maybe quite a few haven't turned up. Let's see if we can find someone. It will be Julian Poulter about now. No, a couple of minutes for him. A couple of families, a few families running this evening. The Wilkinsons, Katie and Gavin. We've got the juries. I think they're both there. I'm sure I saw them on the list. Katie and Mark. Are you there as well, Mark? Can't quite see. The Lanciers, of course. Emma and Sam. And you may even include myself as my nephew's riding, but I'm not riding, of course. Now, let's see what's going on here. So, Poulter should be off at 1:56, so I cannot see anyone ahead of him. So he has the pressure of having the entire field behind him. Although if he goes before 1:56.15, I reckon he set off 3 seconds early. So I'm going to be watching, make sure he holds back on those 3 seconds. As I said earlier, course is fairly quick, reasonably flat. So let's get this racing underway. Shannon there in the background with the Meet Me icon rotating above his head, so everyone knows where he is at least. That's me sitting there looking at Poulter, waiting to go. And are we there yet? No, we still have a bit of time to go. So while we wait for the race to start, weather conditions look good, the roads are dry, does have an impact. And my prediction this evening, quite a few riders I have not commentated on before. But while we wait to go, who's that? Matt Civita. Well, it certainly won't be him. Not after his dismal performance in the cyclocross yesterday. Second last in his age group, although he may claim statistically something else. But second last finisher. Although he may well have used that as a training ride, of course, and he could be right on form. Lancia, of course, is always in with a good chance, Sam Lancia. But he has some good competition this evening, and I know the overall results for the league are quick. There is someone just went shooting off the front there. What is going on here? It's Graham Fisk, I think. No, it's not. Sorry, Graham. Katie Wilkinson is off. 1:56.55, right on time. So, making a good start here. Young rider, looking determined. 108 watts at the moment. She's got to pace this nicely onto the cobbles now. There is a short lead up before the start of the race has started, but there's a short lead up to the finish line, and then riders will do one complete lap and back to the finish line, the arch over the marina. We should see that shortly. Looks as if Poulter is underway. Now the gap between Wilkinson and Poulter is 42 seconds. And we'll have a look and see how that changes. Is Poulter underway? Sorry, I may have made a mistake there. Yes, there he is. He is running now. Fisk will be next to go, I think. No, Dave Morton, sorry. Getting it all wrong this evening. Let's just focus. It's simply because the riders don't line up in the start grid positions. But anyway, here's Wilkinson. Just coming up to 1 kilometre. And there is the all-important archway, which will signify the finish for this rider in around 24 kilometres. There is Poulter now at 0.8 of a kilometre into this race, running at 208 watts, heart rate 147. You can certainly push that a bit harder, but might be wise to warm up as he now passes under the start finish line, and the gap to Wilkinson ahead has closed by 8 seconds at this stage. Now have we got Cowley is underway, and I did not know, but displaying the Isle of Man flag there. I don't think there's much chance that he's going to emulate that other great rider from the Isle of Man, but we'll see. Riding without a helmet, so he's confident, and right behind him is Peter Jones, the master of road riding, and I would watch him closely, and that could be Emma Lancia behind. Haven't seen her ride before. 230 watts is putting out quite a bit of power. She would be wise, if she can, just to sit behind Peter Jones for a while, because he is a strong rider. Bruce Lloyd Taylor underway, and I think now we have Graham Fisk, and let's just take some time checks with him. So he's 5 seconds behind Bruce at the moment. And we'll see how this order changes. In fact, I think there's going to be some overtaking pretty early on. Hokima is underway, as we now have Quigley and Derek Benton looking in good form, and Stephen Fowler going. Shannon next to leave. Bit frustrating sitting there watching all the other riders disappear. But here we go. Emma Lancia is just first in the Marina Sprint reverse at the moment. So she may well have overtaken Peter Jones. Let's see. No, still sitting right on Jones's wheel. May well be getting some advice from Sam. I have no idea if they're in the same room, but could be, and she's using a power up there. Oh, sorry, Peter's using a power up to try and pull away a little. but it's not working. So another rider's just off. See if we can find out who's moving now. Benton was the last one. Wilkinson Senior, Gavin, strong rider. He'll be out to compete with Watts. Al Watts, who's just coming up behind him, well, 16 seconds behind him. Should be able to see him in the distance just there, and probably Ray if he's in there somewhere. I think I saw his name. The three of them will be battling each other. I know who I've got my money on. And let's go right up to the front of the race, see what's happening. Right, so here we go. The gap to Wilkinson has been closed already at 2.8 kilometres. So I think perhaps she didn't start with a large enough handicap, but that will rectify itself if she continues racing. But Poulter now moves into the lead and has all of the pressure of this race on his shoulders. Good kick from Katie Wilkinson there, determined not to let him go up to 2.9 watts per kilo. In fact, she is putting out more watts per kilo than Poulter is. So that will be interesting to see what happens. Who has the stamina? And Cowley now 138 back from the leader, which is Poulter. And the clock at 1:50. So looking down the list, we should be now moving into the territory of the fast riders, the faster riders. No, Davis is not gone yet. Fowler at 1.9 kilometres, 203 watts. Oh, I see Al Watts has now got first in the Marina Sprint Reverse, followed closely by Albert May. That number is likely to keep falling as the faster riders come through. So let's have a look. There's Wilkinson. Watts is... Oh, this will disappoint Wilkinson if this... So someone stopped in the middle of the road. Ridiculous place to be. Wonder who that was. Might find out, but there is Watts moving alongside Wilkinson. Wilkinson doesn't look particularly happy about that, but he may just try and sit on his wheel. But the gap is, according to Zwift at least, 2 seconds down to 1 second. Let's have a look from Albert's perspective. He should be able to see those two riders ahead. In fact, there they are, with Watts still leading over Wilkinson. And moving further back in the field is Ray with Shannon and his beacon going. Dave Sampson. Nixon catching up with Shannon and Sampson. Tamsin underway, sitting right next to West. And Davis still sitting there in the middle of the road. Walker and Civita, he'll be drafting someone. Smith. And right behind Smith we have Lisa Stevenson, recovering from recent injury but looking strong there. Now a small bunch of riders forming here. Stevenson, Smith, Walker and Civita, I think. By Oliver White. No, oh, right behind him is Stoneham. And now we get to some of the big guys. Campbell and Jonathan Smith right next to each other. If you want to draft two riders, these are absolutely the best two to draft. Martin Wales on the move, Henry Courtier, Gary Empson just going down to the start finish. I say that casually, he is racing, but the lead in to the start. And now Jury at 5.2 watts per kilo. Kind of relaxed looking cadence, but she's putting the power in at 270 watts. Unbelievable. Scott Rowland, he'll be trying to catch Katie ahead. There is Lancia just, oh no, it's Ware and Lancia underway. 11.8 watts per kilo. Someone's on fire there. I'm not sure what their start times were. Both on the same start time. Right. So these two have the entire field in front of them and everyone to catch. I think, if I'm correct, Ware, the slightly younger rider, Lancia, perhaps getting to his peak now. Probably should be thinking about graceful retirement at the top rather than slide all the way down like Davis has in recent years. Only joking, Barrett. Now let's have a look right up the front, see if anything has changed. Right. Here we go. Aha! Now this is interesting. So Poulter and Wilkinson are next to each other. So that early move by Poulter to catch up with Wilkinson clearly has not worked at all. In fact, he looks pretty relaxed now. At 1.9 watts per kilo, 1.5. Wilkinson's putting in a bit of power. Interesting to see this. The gap back to Emma Lancia, who has Peter Jones still sitting. In fact, no, sorry, Emma's now ahead of Peter Jones. I think I'd let him go ahead for quite a bit longer yet. Save your energy for the more difficult parts of the race. But right now, at 6.2 kilometres in, roughly quarter of the way there, we have Julian Poulter, 2 watts per kilo. Wilkinson right behind at 2.4. Bruce Lloyd Taylor, I don't think we'll see him yet. Let's have a look. No sign of him off to the rear. And he's with Emma Lancia, Cowley, Peter Jones, small group. So we'll just have a quick look at them. There they are, the 4 of those riders. And as I keep saying, I would not underestimate Peter Jones. Very, very tactical rider. Knows exactly what he's doing. And moving back through the field, let's just see. Okay, 5.9, Fisk at 5.8 kilometres, Quigley 5.7, so they're all within visibility of each other. 9 seconds further back, Derek Benton riding, I think, by himself, but that is Stephen Fowler now, who can see Benton ahead. That's a great incentive to try and catch him up. Watts and May, I mean, this is Watts, May, and who else? Oh, Gavin Wilkinson. Yeah, so Wilkinson is hanging on to the rear wheel of Watts. And this is an impressive performance from Albert May. Just to let you other 2 gentlemen know, without mentioning any numbers, he's a little bit more mature than you. You really should be ahead of him, but May's very good at calculating exactly what he needs to do, when he needs to do it, how much power he needs to put out. So a wise competitor. But Watts, that's a bit of an embarrassing ride for you, really. I'd get a move on. And there's their other in this group here. Oh, Keith Ray, he's will be determined to catch up with Wilkinson in front. But in this group, we have Ray, West, Tamsin's in there as well. Nixon, by the looks of it, Sampson, Shannon at the back. So that is, I think, the largest group on the field at the moment. And let's see how Ware and Lancia are doing. A little bit of a separation there, but that looks like Ware waving Lancia through, but Lancia's not that king. Doesn't look like a very aerodynamic hat he's got on. That may have some impact, I'm not sure. But they're now both next to each other at a rather lowly 2.5 watts per kilo. I mean, I'm not sure that's called racing really. Ware puts in a kick at 12 watts per kilo. Look at that, afterburners are lit and he's trying to pull away. Lancia is at last responding. You guys, if you want to get to the front, you've got to race properly, work together and use that sprint for the end, not doing it at 3.6 kilometres. Ware's still on fire. Lancia showing him who's boss though. Ware most certainly hasn't given up. It's a 1 second gap, but he's putting out, Ware that is, he's putting out more power than Lancia, who's now sat back down and relaxing the gap to Roland in front, 17 seconds, and to Davis ahead of that, with Empson about 40 seconds, and Jury as well in there. There we have Ware's used a power up and is back on the wheel of Lancia. Let's have a look at them. So we have here Empson, Jury and Davis. And in the middle of the field, well, now this is interesting. So Jonathan Smith is about 140, 116. People keep moving, try to click on them. I was thinking that Campbell and Smith may come together. But we'll see what happens. So here we have Campbell, Stoneham and White with John Smith about 25 seconds further back. Now I need to keep an eye on the front because it's all too... there is, before we do that, Walker, Smith, Civitar. Another family I missed, Civitar and Stevenson. So it's becoming quite a family race, this. Maybe they are working together. Would be interesting to know. Still the biggest group that I've seen so far. Booth, West, Nixon, Sampson, Ray and Shannon. Shannon clearly visible with that nice yellow beacon above his head. And up at the front, what's going on? Poulter just swapping lead back and forward with Wilkinson. Emma Lancia now catching up a little. That gap is closing, and in about 3 kilometres they will come to the aqueduct climb, which may well change things around. But Poulter, as I said, a little bit brave early on, now looks a bit nervous actually. Wilkinson though just sitting there, and Lloyd Taylor's caught up with, Lloyd Taylor, Cowley caught up with, who's he caught up with? Peter Jones and Emma Lancia. In fact, they may well be going past, that is if that's their intention. Do remember, this is a race. Don't sit there and recover, not at 150 watts. 180 watts, it's a bit better. 2.2 watts per kilo, 2 watts. No, you can go faster than that, guys. I mean that towards, let's see, who did I mean? Cowley and Lloyd Taylor. It could well be a mistake just to sit there with the leaders. They may be thinking, of course, that they know they're stronger than the two that were in the front. No reason to go any faster, but they're not the concern. It's those riders about 30-40 seconds further back that are going to catch you. Just by the way I'm looking at it at the moment, there are maybe 10 riders half a kilometre further behind. They're riding much faster than you are. However, let's not take that away from the fact that these two riders have been leading since the front. Poulter and Wilkinson. Moving back through. Watts. Oh, missed that, sorry. I was trying to focus on that middle group. So we have May. Has changed. Wilkinson. Yes, so we have Al Watts, Gavin Wilkinson, Albert May. Looks as if Tamsin has just caught up as well, and they're about to catch a group in front. Now Strava is not, Strava, Zwift is not seemingly reporting that very accurately. Let's have a look behind. Oh, there we are. So, yes, so it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 riders now are all going to come together. And in that group behind, Booth, Ray, Sampson, Nixon, West, they will go past. Shannon in there, of course, with his nice flashy beacon above his head. We are now at 9.5 kilometres in, 16 minutes run time. And let's see how the big boys down the back. Oh, just on the way there. So we have Jury, Empson, Davis, Rowland about to be caught. And it looks as if Empson and Davis are the last riders. That means something has happened. But where are Sam Lancier, Jacques Warret? They can't be that fast, surely. Takes a bit of fiddling around on Zwift to move between riders. Tamsin on the screen at the moment, coming up for 10k. In fact, we'll come back. Hopefully it's just a Zwift reporting issue. We'll come back to those riders if I can get up to the front, which is not always the easiest thing to do, and I can't at the moment. Watts, Okima, Lancia, Emma. Right, let's have a look now. So Poulter's still in the front at 12 kilometres across the cobbled section. Will shortly, I think, reach the aqueduct. Wilkinson right on his wheel. Lloyd Taylor, Cowley, Emma Lancier, Peter Jones in a 4. So let's see. I would have thought Lloyd Taylor, he should have caught up by now, but interesting to see these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 riders now, maybe all averaging similar power output, but only about 400 metres between the first of them and the last of them. Now at 12.5 kilometres. No one visibly behind these two. And we'll just hold here for a couple of 100 metres as the climb starts. .7 kilometres in, with Julian Poulter on the front, being closely followed by Katie Wilkinson. I was going to watch them up the climb, but something distracted me there. I'm still trying to find what's happened to Sam Lancier and Jacques Warret. Can't see them anywhere. Bit strange. Can't believe they both disappeared from the game. But anyway, Here we go. On the climb. Starting the start of the climb at 13.3 kilometres. It goes up to about the summit is at about 13.7 kilometres. Then a nice descent. Katie Wilkinson just losing touch slightly with the leader. Not much of a time gap, but it's happening. And behind Lloyd Taylor, Cowley, Jones, Lancia, Emma, and maybe the only Lancia left in the race, I don't know. But up to 5%, this is roughly the most difficult part of the climb, and as is the very top, Poulter. And behind him now, let's see if we can see, that is Wilkinson, 5 seconds behind at 4.4 watts per kilo, just dropped down to 1 watt per kilo. Hopefully she's not giving up. I think she looks very capable, and being somewhat younger than Poulter, if she just keeps this up, she may well be able to catch him. Here he comes now up to the summit. Wilkinson is dropping away quickly, actually 16 seconds behind now. That's Poulter through the top, and that is Lloyd Taylor using a power up to catch up with Wilkinson. This will be a little bit disheartening, having led for been in the front two for half of this race. And along with Taylor now comes Cowley, Emma Lancia, and the wily Peter Jones. 24 minutes into this race. And behind that group, we have Hilkema, Fisk, Benton just ahead, just stringing out a little there. They'll come together as opposed to getting caught, I think, as they now approach the top. And one of the key battles this evening, Shannon, Sampson, Ray. Where is... Oh, so Ray is past Wilkinson. Rob Smith, I'm assuming that is. And about a further 20 seconds back, Campbell. There's Big John Smith, Oliver White. Looks like Jury's got a jersey. That's not a great surprise. She's with Rowland now, which is great. They've dropped Davis 51 seconds further back, and Empson is right on his tail. So Jury and Davis, or let's say Rowland and Jury, it could be where the action happens, but they've got their work cut out for them. Stevenson and Civita, Walker, Rob Smith, all riding together, gaining on Albert May, Sampson, Nixon and Wilkinson up ahead. Oh, Tamsin has a jersey as well, a climbing one, well done to her. Has become a very strong rider, but look at the size of this group. This is going to be interesting. Got 7-8 riders in there, all now undoubtedly looking at each other at 15 kilometres in. And right at the pointy end of this race, we have Poulter. And Wilkinson looks as if is she back on the front there? She is, well done. That's been I missed that, sorry about that. That must have been a great move. 15, 16 seconds behind Poulter last time I looked, and is now back in the running. Has picked up a few more riders, of course, Peter Jones, Emma Lancia, Richard Cowley. But that doesn't matter. If she could stay there with them, I think she will go past. In fact, Poulter is now being overtaken. Looks as if he may well have paid for that early pace to get in the front and the pace once again to break away from Wilkinson. May all be part of the tactical plan, but strange tactics. But it could work. And coming up behind them, though, at 16.2 kilometres, the next bunch, I'm just trying to work out, will another bunch catch this lot? And it is possible. 40 seconds back, the sort of Fowler, Benton, West, Wilkinson. Now that would be interesting if Gavin Wilkinson catches up with Katie Wilkinson. That would be certainly something to talk about round the table this evening. I know who I'm voting for. That's you, Katie. And what's Watts up to? Oh, Watts, is he still there? Still there, sitting in with his buddies. And that lovely beacon on top of Mark Shannon. Civitar and Stevenson. Oh, Stevenson has a jersey as well. Another one I missed, and that group is about to catch up with Fisk by the looks of it. This rider here, let's look backwards. Might just catch them coming round the corner. Or is it? Might be Hukima actually. Right, just going back up to the front, I have on occasion missed the winning rider. We're into the balloon fields. Gets a little bit bumpy the latter part of this course. I haven't ridden it myself for quite some time, but it's a bit twisty as well, if I remember. Now, let's have a look. So we have in this group Cowley, Jones, Wilkinson, Lloyd Taylor, Lancia, and 20 seconds behind them, Quigley is the next rider. It'll be a difficult job to bridge that gap, especially going uphill. There are about 3, if I recall, small hills here, up to about 3%. Enough to sort of change the order. 17.6 kilometres in at 30 minutes 29 seconds. And Lloyd Taylor out the front. That's Poulter right behind. Wilkinson still in there. This could, where if this group stays together, it could all well come down to the sprint. Who's got the stamina for a long sprint, I think, would be the winning move. I don't know all of the riders, but just having had a look at all the statistics earlier on, I think the winner may get this on a long sprint, not a short one. But Lloyd Taylor out the front, other riders not letting him go. .2. About 6k left to go. Gives us enough time to move back through the field. So Fowler 20 seconds behind Quigley. And Quigley is 15-16 seconds behind the lead group, so that's something to watch. But right behind Quigley is this huge group, and they're shifting. Hopefully this isn't a bunch sprint of all the riders together, because I'll never work out who finished first. Look at that. West and Booth PRs. In fact, Booth's now got the green jersey and the spotty one. Could be the rider to watch. But this group closing quickly, 30 seconds from the lead group. And as you can see, there are about 10 of them in there. So it's coming down to these riders. I don't think as far back as this possible. There's a power up coming out there for Smith. I don't think the rear of the field, they're really going to catch up at this stage. Not from 17.5 kilometres. It is possible, but gaining 10 seconds per kilometre could happen, but they need to be working together now. And as you can see, Smith, Walker, Civita, and who was Stevenson, and May just trying to get onto the wheel of Stevenson and Civita. That would be a great move from him if he can do that. Come on, Albert. But they are closing rapidly on the group in front. So Civita's leading that group. He's got a good sprint on him, I'll give him that. So he might well be driving them forward to catch up with this large group, including Shannon with the beacon above his head. And they are closing that gap down to 8 seconds, now 7 seconds. Now's the time to go. Power ups coming. This group's spreading out just a little up out of the saddle. Still closing, still closing. Have a look backwards. Should be able to see them. There they are. So they will quite likely come together. And let's see what's up the front. So here we are. 20 kilometres, 20.1, 34 minutes, 30 seconds. Lloyd Taylor leading the field at 1.7, 1.8 watts per kilo. That is not called racing. That's called, I want to make as little effort as possible to try and beat the other riders around me. And I think he could well do that, to be fair, but we like to see a bit of a gutsy performance. So at 20 kilometres, it's about time you jumped on those pedals, and 2.9 watts per kilo I'd like to see, please. But anyway, with him, of course, and no great surprise, Peter Jones. He will have played this very well, using all his knowledge. You don't become a national champion by not having the knowledge and the skill and the strength, and he's showing that here. Poulter, Lancier, Wilkinson, Katie in there, and just out of interest, I saw the other Wilkinson. No, that's Walker. Disappeared. Aha, this doesn't look good. That is the lead group ahead. Oh no, it isn't. Beg your pardon. That's Wilkinson number 2. And what I'm trying to work out is the gap between the two Wilkinsons. That's it, in fact. So this is a massive group coming together now. One Wilkinson's going to pass the other. They are only 4 seconds ahead. And if we go to that group, there's Poulter on the back, looking back. There's this massive bunch coming, and they are riding faster. They're putting out roughly 1 watt per kilo more, and you can see it down to 2 seconds. So despite a fantastic effort from these riders, particularly Poulter and Wilkinson, Lancier as well, Peter Jones, of course, at 21.5 kilometres, they are caught, and they will now be passed by this chasing group. There we are. Gavin waves to Katie. She's probably not very happy about that, but a great effort. And we now have the new leader. A little bit more serious. Tamsin Booth in the front at 21.9 kilos. Wilkinson Senior in third place. Smith in there. Who else? Changing around. Big group. And how we're going to capture all of these at the finish is another question. If you'd like to sprint now, it would make my job an awful lot easier, but I'm sure we'll work it out. Cowley moved into the front. So we have try and work out how many riders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 15, 16 riders in this group. Let's have a quick look. Yes, something like that. So there is Civita, and Stevenson moves into the lead. No, changes around again. Wilkinson Senior in the front. Not often I've seen him in the front, but I hope he could stay there. This would be a great win for him if he can hold on now, but his mate Al Watts has just gone in front and it's changed again, as we might expect. Tamsin back in the lead, no one giving up. Dan West in the front, changed again. Is that Al Watts in the front now? I think it might be. Walker, sorry. Followed by Smith, then West, Watts, Stevenson, Civita lurking in there. Keith Ray in there too, as is Alan Nixon. 23.1. I think 24.7 is the finish, but remember to head for that arch and keep going. And on one of the downhills, little twisty section, does make it a little bit harder, even in the virtual world. Smith out front. Walker out front now. Stevenson out front. And it's just changed again by the looks of it. Cowley out front. Now the power is starting to wind up just a little, beginning to stretch out. Let's have a look back. Yes, that group is spreading out, and there are 3 other riders charging along back there. But are they in fact? No, I think it's Jones, Lancia, who've just been dropped off the back of that group. Al Watts out in front, big engine in him. Rob Smith now in front, back to Walker, 24 kilometres. They know the finish is coming, the 4% climb. This could spread it out a little bit. Rob Smith, Dan West, changing all the time, back to Smith. Less than a kilometre to go as far as I can work out. Smith, West, Walker, Civita, Sampson. Looks like Civita was saving his energy from yesterday's cyclocross. Putting in a good performance there. Al Watts, I haven't seen him this close to the front of a race in a long time. But at the moment, I think I saw Sampson come into the picture there. Dave Sampson suddenly pops up. Stevenson, great competitor. Booth, to the ladies up in the front of this race. Walker, 24.7 kilometres. Where is the finish? It's not far, it can't be. I think it's round this corner. Walker, Smith, Nixon, Watts. Is that it up ahead? That is it up ahead. So Smith at 9.8 watts per kilo, currently in the lead. Walker can't respond, up to 6. Watts can't respond. Civita putting in a bit of an effort, but at the moment it looks like Rob Smith pulling away. Walker's making an effort at 6.1. Late surge from Dan West. So it looks like Smith, Walker, Sampson. Let's just move back in the field before I lose the rest of them. Next group coming in. Emma Lancier. So it looks to be Ray, Fowler, Lancier, Quigley, Courtier racing with Lloyd Taylor and Marcus Stoneham. I'll put my money on Marcus Stoneham at the moment. Oh no, in there. Peter Jones. Never underestimate Peter Jones. And off he goes, followed by Stoneham will be next across the line. Oliver White's putting in a big kick behind him though. There comes Oliver White's got to get him on the finish with a well-placed power up. Then Campbell comes in. Martin Wales. Lloyd Taylor. Poulter coming in next. May. And there is Katie Wilkinson. 3.8 watts clear, 4.8 watts. Great push from her towards the end. Coming up for 25 kilometres. Has not given in. Derek Benton, though, is right behind her. And behind Benton, we have Rowland. Looks as if he is out on his own. 36 minutes. Going to go around the corner. Not pushing it, doesn't need to. There's the finish for him. Graham Fisk. No one to worry him. I wouldn't underestimate her in any sense, but I think that's a bit of a big gap to pick up. But it is possible. Not possible anymore. Oh, hang on. She could take it. She's doing 2 watts per kilo more, but she could do a lot more than that on a sprint. But she is gaining rapidly, but not going to be quite enough as Fisk crosses the line, followed by Jury. Hukima now at 24.4 kilometres. And it looks as if at the moment, I don't think the finishing positions of these riders are going to change. 24.7k as he now turns into the finishing straight. Shannon is a further 52 seconds back and about a kilometre back, so he's not going to catch him. Gary Empson out by himself. Is the last rider on the course. Someone tell me what happened to Sam Lancier and Jacques Poiret riding so strongly at the start. Seemed to have disappeared unless I've missed you completely. But there is Empson at 23.8. Up the 4% climb. And we'll get Shannon at 24.4. There's Hokimo crossing the line. So only 2 riders left. And it doesn't look as if the results there are going to change in any way. So just leaves me to say thank you for watching. Congratulations to all the riders. You all came together pretty well towards the end. And I hope to see you soon on Zwift, or maybe even on a bike.